Hello everyone, hello, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are watching me from. Guess what I'm doing today? I'm actually about to cook a delicacy that we normally do in Zambia, and it's called Chikanda. It is like, polony, if you've eaten polony before, and the consistency looks a bit like polony, but it's actually a plant. It is a root that grows underground, and it is like a vegetable at the same time, full of minerals and proteins and, a lot of nutrients in there. And we actually cook it with ground nuts, but today I'm going to be using almond powder, which is in the same family like ground nuts, but almonds are more healthier than the peanuts, really. Yeah, so here we go. Let me show you the ingredients that I'm going to be using. So in here I've got 2 cups of chikanda. This is the chikanda powder. This is how it looks like. If you've never seen it before, it looks like that. It's just grains. When they dig it from the ground, it is like roots, small round, things, brown, and you pound them, you know, and then make this powder. And this is what you use to cook the chikanda itself. So there it is. So 2 cups. If you're writing the ingredients, that's 2 cups in there of chikanda. And now here I've got the almond powder, or groundnuts. If you want, you can use groundnuts powder. And in here I've got 4 cups. So it's 2 cups of chikanda, 4 cups of the either groundnut powder or almond flour powder. Yeah, so that's 4 cups in there. And this is how the almond flour powder, this is the packaging. I know on the video maybe it's looking upside down, but simply says almond flour, and I got this one from Costco. I know you can find it in different places, yeah, right. Then the next thing that I have salt. That is salt, and that is called sea salt crystals, which I have actually shredded. And I've got 4 teaspoons of salt in there. That's 4 teaspoons of salt. Yeah. And then I've also got baking soda, 4 teaspoons of baking soda. And this is the baking soda that I'm using. There it is. And this is the baking soda that I'm using. Yeah. Some people, they prefer to use a bit of shredded onion or chilies, but I'm just, just doing it plain, because I've just mixed the real chikanda without any other flavors in it. So let's get going. Yeah. So in this pot, in this saucepan, I've got 10 cups of water. So remember, 10 cups of water, 2 cups of chikanda, and this is the size of the teacup that I've used for my measurements. Yeah. So I've used 10 cups of water. Then I've used 4 cups of the almond flour or groundnuts. If you want to use groundnuts, then 2 cups of chikanda powder itself, then 4 teaspoons of salt and 4 teaspoons of the baking soda. So those are the ingredients that I'm using today. I'm not adding any flavors like onions or chilies or anything like that. So the first thing that I'm gonna do in this water here, I'm gonna put these groundnuts or the almond flour, and just make it like the way you'd make porridge. I'll put it in the water and then stir it until it actually starts to boil and cooks. That's the first thing that I'm gonna put in there, and I put it in there slowly. Hope you can see, you can all see me. I'm gonna move my camera a little bit closer so that you can see me properly. Yeah. So the water shouldn't be like boiling. It should start to boil as you are stirring, so that you don't have any lumps. Yeah, so that you don't have any lumps in it. So there we go. I can't wait to actually come and sample this chikanda later. Yeah. So that's my 4 cups of the almond flour in there. So I'm going to increase the heat a little bit so that it can actually begin to cook. Let me see if I can move my camera a little bit closer so that you can see me as I'm stirring my chikanda. Yeah, so there it is, looking nicely there. Yeah, you have to be patient. It takes a little while because those groundnuts have to boil first and cook. Yeah, and then when the groundnuts have boiled and cooked, that's when I'm gonna put in the chikanda powder as well, and the salt and the baking soda. Yeah, so that's the order in which they actually go in. So that's my chikanda there waiting to go in, and my baking soda and my salt, you know, waiting to actually go in a moment. Right, yeah, so we have to find ways of actually cooking healthy traditional meals as well. You know, there's nothing like your own type of food sometimes, you know, and I'm so glad that today I can actually cook this chikanda, which is a delicacy. Let me say hello to my son. You can see him I can see my son just coming in. Let me just say hello. Hi, son. Okay, I saw my son coming in. Oh. I'll be back at early for Shima, so it's coming soon. So I thought he was here. Yeah, so it was actually my daughter coming in. Yeah, but I'm expecting my son just to come in for supper. It's gonna be nice to see him. Yeah, so I'm cooking this delicacy so that you can also come and sample some. Here we go. So I'll just let these groundnuts cook. You know, at this point I can even put in the salt, but I'll wait a little bit before I can actually put in the salt. Yeah, so vegetables are very, very important part of our diet. Really, we have to find interesting ways of making ourselves eat vegetables, because a lot of times we'd rather have other things rather than vegetables, which are actually healthier than other things that we can eat. Things like meat, you know, especially processed meats. Those are not very healthy. We need to find ways of incorporating our protein in our in our diet using healthy stuff, you know, plant-based. So I'm so glad that I'm using this almond flour. This almond flour is full of protein, you know, because peanuts, you know, nuts in general, they are full of you know, nutrients, especially proteins as well. So my groundnuts are now boiling. Oh, the almond flour is just boiling now, so I'll let it boil. Yeah, I'm sure you can see me stirring. Yeah, so it's trying to come to the top, so I'm just gonna stir nicely until it is properly cooked. Yeah, it's been a quiet day today, so that's why I'm dressed in this nice warm cardigan, even though in the kitchen it's now nice and warm. Yeah, so that's the chikanda they are cooking. You'll have to be patient and stay with me. Stay with me. Yeah, so there we go. Let me bring the camera a little bit even closer. There we go. There we go. And that's our almond cooking there. I'll let it boil a little bit more, few more minutes, yeah, before I can actually start to put in my chikanda powder. Yeah, it's very, very interesting. I would like to hear from you. This chikanda recipe is actually from Zambia, and this chikanda delicacy is actually from Zambia. So if you're not from Zambia, I would like to hear from you one of the delicacies that you like, a traditional delicacy that you cook, you know, where you are from. That would be very, very interesting, because we need to be trying out these different recipes. You know, I like learning from friends, you know, and just getting the recipes that they use. Yeah, it's really good. Yeah. So I haven't cooked this chikanda for, I think, for nearly 20 years now. Yeah, so that's why I'm trying to be careful and and I'm praying with all my heart that it comes out right. Yeah, I've not cooked it for nearly 20 years now, but by God's grace, it should come out correct. It should come out correct. Yeah, so I hope everybody's had a wonderful day. It's nearly the end of January. Today is what? Today is the 20th of January. Wow. Unbelievable how time moves so fast. Yeah. Time is moving really, really fast. But we can thank God that we are still here in 2023. And we have to take advantage of the time that we've been given to actually enjoy time with our family and friends, to share all the good things that God has given us. Because life is beautiful with family and friends. And that's why I like coming on from time to time to inspire myself and inspire other people as well. Yeah. Yeah. So, one of my New Year resolutions I wrote on my Facebook timeline the other day, that is to maintain my two dress sizes down, you know, a health journey. And that's what I'm trying to do, really. I'm trying to eat healthy. So like in here, I've got this vegetable soup. I don't know whether you can see it. It's just full of vegetables there. Onions, tomatoes, peppers, and you name it. Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to eating that as well. Trying to incorporate a lot of vegetables in my diet. You know, not only for the nutrition part of it, the nutrients part of it, but also for the fiber, you know, for bowel health. Remember, when we are getting to that mature age, especially us women, because of the hormonal changes, we tend to slow down our metabolism a lot, and that also affects the digestive system as well. You find that you tend to be bloated, you tend to be constipated. So you need to have a fiber-rich diet, a diet that is very rich in fiber. That's what we need to be having. Yeah. So at this point, I'm gonna start putting my Chikanda into the groundnut paste. In this case, I've used almond powder, so I'm just going to taste it just to see if it's cooked. Yeah. Yeah, so it's nearly done. It's nearly ready for me to start putting in the Chikanda. Yeah, ready for me to start putting in the Chikanda. So that's my Chikanda there. It looks really nice. Really nice. Really pray to God that it comes out right. So I'm just gonna put it in slowly. Put it in slowly. And continue to stir. The job is the stirring. So when you're cooking Chikanda, you have to be ready for the stirring job. You have to be ready to stir and stir and stir until it is actually becomes thick like porridge. Actually even thicker than that, because you can actually cut it like a cake when it is done properly. Yeah. So we shall see. From now onwards, I just have to continue stirring my Chikanda and the almond flour mixture. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna be doing from now onwards. So I'm gonna let it boil a bit before I can actually start putting in my soda, you know, and my salt. But for the salt, you can put it in at any point in time when you are cooking. But when you put in the soda, sometimes it starts coming up to the top. So I'm gonna wait a little bit until it's cooked to some extent before I can actually put in the soda. When it starts to thicken, that's when I'm gonna put in the soda. Yeah, so from now onwards, my job, let me bring this closer. My job is gonna be stirring. That's what my job is gonna be, really. So you have to be ready when you're cooking chikanda. Let me reduce the heat so that it doesn't burn at the bottom. Yeah, so when you're cooking chikanda, you need to be ready for the stirring bit. Let me show the pot a little bit more. Yeah, there you go. Let me not lose you. There you go. Yeah, so that's my pot there. That's my pot of the chikanda there. And it's already beginning to look nice. It's beginning to thicken up. But that's the whole idea. You know, if it is like the proper chikanda, it should not give trouble to thicken up. Let me move the camera a bit closer. Yeah. There we go. I'm really excited. I can't wait to see this chikanda come out right, by God's grace. Yeah. So let's see how this is going to go. Yeah. So that's the main job, it's just the stirring of the chikanda. You have to just carry on stirring until it will show you, it will actually become thick. At the moment, this is how it's looking like. It's just like thick porridge. I don't know if you can see on the cooking stick there. You know. Yeah. Yeah, so chikanda is a very famous delicacy in Zambia. When you go to Zambia, everybody loves chikanda. You know, everybody loves chikanda. When you've cooked it, you can actually re-prepare it in different ways. Because like I told you, it actually thickens up, as you are going to see. You know, you can when it cools down, you can actually cut it, you know, and maybe add some onions and tomatoes to it and make soup. Or you can actually make fisashi with it, where you cut it and you put either almond flour powder or groundnut powder again, you know, and make it like fisashi. If you come from Zambia, when I say fisashi, you know what I mean. Or you can actually fry it a little bit, you know, in a obviously healthy oil, like extra virgin oil, because we are trying to actually be as healthy as possible in our diet. You know, so you can actually fry it if you want. So at this point, I'm gonna put my salt in there, and that's my salt. That's 4 teaspoons of salt in there, and I've got 4 teaspoons of baking soda there. So I'm gonna put the salt first. And for the salt, you can put it at the beginning if you want. There's no harm doing that. There's no harm in doing that. So you have to be ready to cook, stirring like the way I'm stirring. In Zambia, we call this motion kunaya. That's what we call it. So you have to be ready, kunaya, the chikanda. You have to be ready. Yeah. It's already beginning to thicken up. I just need to continue kunaya. Pardon me if I'm not talking to you much, because this kunaya is a big task. It requires some concentration as well. Yeah. So I wanted to do this live, but I thought let me record it because it takes a while. It takes a while to cook the chikanda. But I hope even as you watch in retrospect that you are going to actually appreciate this and maybe try it out one of these days. Yeah, it is possible. Alright, so it's becoming thicker, and that's what we want, because we don't want at the end of it or not to, for our chikanda not to be thick. So like I told you, the job is just the stirring. You have to keep on stirring and stirring all the time. You have to keep on stirring and stirring all the time. I think at this juncture, since it's beginning to harden, I'm gonna put my soda, my 4 teaspoons of soda. Remember, I started with 10 cups of water, and this is the cup measurement I was using, 10 cups of water, and then 2 cups of the chikanda, and 4 teaspoons of the salt, and 4 teaspoons of the soda as well. Right. We just switch off this thing making noise behind us. Yeah. So those are the measurements of the ingredients that are used. So I just have to continue to stir and stir the chikanda until it is properly done. I deliberately used a big pot so that I've got room for stirring. So yeah. You have to be strong or to stir the chikanda for it to come out nicely. I'm sweating. I should have actually went something lighter because of this exercise, because it's quite heavy exercise to stir the chikanda. Yeah. So like you can see now, it's actually beginning to be thick because of the steam. Maybe you can't see, so maybe we shouldn't be too long before it is done. So I'm just going to put in the rest of the soda. I put half of it, so now I'm gonna put in the rest of the soda as I continue to naya the chikanda. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Let me just test a tiny bit. It's actually beginning to taste more like it. I just have to be strong to keep stirring. So there we go. Let me continue stirring. I pray that it comes out right, because I've really missed the chikanda. just put a tiny bit of chili powder just for taste. Just a tiny bit. Just a tiny bit. Like a very tiny bit. You can flavor it depending on how you want it. If you want it to be very flavorful, or if you just want a tiny flavor of the chili, or whatever spice you want to add to it, you know, you can do that. There we go. God help me with strength to nail this chikanda. It is now like proper thick, like yeshima or ugali or fufu or saza, depending on how you call it. Yeah. There we go. My eggs, but because I really want this chikanda, I have to strengthen myself and make sure that I'm proper stirring. That I'm proper stirring this chikanda. Yeah, I'm sure it will be done soon. I'm sure it will be done soon. It's actually beginning to come off my cooking stick, and that's one of the signs that it's nearly done. When it starts coming off the cooking stick, instead of it sticking onto the cooking stick, you see it beginning to come off. Then you know that the chikanda is may reduce the heat so that it doesn't begin to burn. Yeah. So this is the chikanda recipe. I remember when I used to cook it at home, the recipe was just in the head. I never used to use measurements. But this time, because I've not cooked it for many years, I had to follow the measurements. Yeah, and thank God somebody came up with the measurements. Because when we learn these things from our mothers, sometimes they didn't show us the measurements. They just measured with their eyes, you know. And they just measured with their eyes and you had to observe and learn. That's how it was. But thank God somebody has written down some measurements when you're cooking chikanda. You can follow those measurements. Yeah. Which is actually now nearly done because it's proper coming off my cooking stick. So now what I have to do is I have to smoothen it out nicely. Okay, let's see. I have to smoothen it out nicely at the bottom of the pot. Gather everything in one nice heap of the chikanda. You know, and then let it simmer for a few minutes. Let it simmer for a few minutes, and then when it simmers for a few minutes, you can put it in the oven for a few minutes, just so that it just completes the process of cooking. Yeah, I'm gonna show you how it's gonna look in a moment when it's done. Wow, I've really been praying that it comes out right, and by God's grace it looks like it's gonna come out right. Yeah. So, and my boys and my girls are really passionate about the chikanda. They really love it, and my husband as well. So I'm sure they are gonna be very happy and proud of me that I've braced myself today to actually go ahead and make the chikanda. Being said, oh, I'll make it tomorrow. I'll make it tomorrow. I'll make it tomorrow, and the credit goes to my Sevele. Yes, not Banda, all the way in California, USA, for inspiring me, because when I went there, she really spoiled me and my husband. She cooked us the chikanda, and that made me just think I need to go and try it out as well. It's been years since I cooked it, but I can go and try, you know. And she's been very encouraging, so I'm gonna send her a photo of this chikanda when it is done. Let me reduce the heat further now that we're at this stage. Yeah, so I'm really proud of myself. I wish I had done it live initially, like I wanted, instead of recorded, but I'm sure you're still gonna give me a thumbs up even if you are watching recorded. Yeah, so I'm just gonna put a tiny bit of water on top and then let it simmer. Let me just put a bit of water in it. Yeah, so I've just got a tiny bit of water in this bowl, and I'm just gonna smoothen it at the top. Smoothen my chikanda at the top with this my cooking stick and a tiny bit of water. I'm gonna show you in a moment how it's looking like. And when it is all done and cooled, when I'm able to remove it from the pot, I'm gonna do a little video or a photo and just show it to you so that you can see the final product of the chikanda. Yeah, amazing. Amazing, amazing. Yeah, so many times we do procrastinate things, just like I've been procrastinating making this chikanda, you know. So we have to come to a place where you say, I'm gonna do this, and you know, it can be done. Nothing is impossible. Everything you put your mind to, you can actually do. Yeah, so I'm just smoothing out my chikanda here. Just making it smooth with a tiny bit of this. I put a very tiny amount of soda to the water here, as I'm smoothing out my chikanda. I think that's enough. It's smooth enough. Before I cover it, let me just show you. I hope you'll be able to see. That's how it's looking there. Yeah, so I'm gonna cover it up to simmer a little bit, and then I'm gonna put it in the oven so that it can just become a bit brown at the top there, you know, and it's really, really nice. So I'm just gonna leave it to simmer a bit, you know, in this pot. I remember my mother used to put like some charcoal, charcoal coals on top of the lid so that there's heat coming from the top and from the bottom, instead of putting it in the oven. But I'm just gonna put it in the oven in a bit, and then I'm gonna come and show you the final product of the chikanda that I have done today. So yeah, so that's that. That's the chikanda recipe. Let me just move this a little bit there so you can see me clearly. Yeah, so that's the chikanda recipe. It just depends on how big you want your chikanda to be. If you want it smaller than what I've made, you can actually use half the ingredients instead of you using 10 cups of water, and that's the normal teacup that I use for the measurements. So I used 10 cups of water, and I used 4 cups of the almond flour powder, or groundnuts if you like, groundnut powder, and then the chikanda was half of the almond powder or groundnuts. So this is 4 almond or groundnut powder, and then for the chikanda it was 2 cups. So if you want to make a smaller one, you can actually do 5 cups of water, 2 cups of almond flour or groundnuts, and then 1 cup of chikanda, and then 2 teaspoons of salt and 2 teaspoons of baking soda, and that's you done. That's the ingredients. But for me, I've made double. You know, I've used double the ingredients because I want my chikanda to be a bit big, because I know my family loves it. Yeah, so that's the chikanda. I'm so happy that you know, I've done it, and you have seen for yourselves, you know, the finished product. That there it is. Sorry about the steam, you know, but there it is. You can see it inside the pot there. It's nice, and you know, it's the right thickness. I just need to put it in the oven now so that it can be brown at the top as well. Yeah, so that is our chikanda. So thank you so much if you're watching in a retrospect, as you would do, because I've recorded this. I didn't want to take a lot of your time because cooking chikanda can take a bit of time. So if you're gonna watch this in retrospect, please give me a thumbs up. It's been a lot of courage, you know, to cook this chikanda today after 20 years. But nothing is impossible. When you put your mind to doing something, you can actually do it. So God bless you all. I can't wait to come and show you the finished product of my chikanda. Thank you. Bye bye.